Okay, so that was not a great clap. It barely made a sound. I think I hurt my hand more than anything. But fuck it. We ball. I'm going to talk about Look Back. So I watched it over the weekend with some of my friends. And I'm going to be honest, I'm not going to talk much about the actual plot or the characters. I'm just kind of going to talk about the way I felt watching it. I absolutely love it. I know I read the one shot earlier this year. I think I saw a video that was talking about the manga, and so I was like, this sounds kind of interesting. So I read it. It was like, holy shit, I really liked this. And then a couple weeks later, I found out about the movie. It was like, oh, now I'm really excited to watch the movie. Boy, I'm going to be emotionally devastated again. I guess I can't wait. And what do you know? I was emotionally devastated. What I love about Look Back is, to me, it perfectly captures what it means to be a creative person, and a lot of, I don't know if I necessarily want to say like the journey of it, but it just kind of hit a lot of beats that I have experienced and find really familiar. There is that love and that passion for what you do, and when the people you know, your family, your friends, see your work, they're like, oh, you're really good at this. We hope you do well. Maybe you can do this in the future. There's a lot of confidence that comes with that. And you start to feel really good. You're like, yeah, I can do this. I am really good at this. Then you see what other people can do. And maybe they're professionals in the field. Maybe they're your contemporaries. Maybe they're also amateurs. And you're like, oh. And there's this like inferiority complex that kicks in. Like there's this one meme I'm very fond of, and it's an image of, it's like a couple stick figures. It's an image of a stick figure with a cake, and there's this really decadent cake next to him, and it's like the creator, and he's like, oh man, this other person's cake is way better than mine. And then the next panel is the audience. It's another stick figure that just goes, holy shit, 2 cakes. And that's how I feel watching a lot of Fujino's story, or at least like the early part. I guess I am going to be talking about the characters. What do you know? Of how once she sees what Kiyomaru can do, she starts to feel inferior. Like, wait a second. There's this other person that can do all this really cool stuff. Her art is incredible. And then you look at mine, and it's nothing. And even my friends, the people who were supporting me, it's like, yeah, you're really good. You might be able to do this professionally. You're like, huh, now that I see your work compared to someone else, you kind of suck. And as a creator, it can be really disheartening. But what Fujino gets is, instead of just like, you know what, I suck, I'm going to give up, there is this desire to improve, and to an almost obsessive degree. You have to work hard. You have to practice. It was something that was talked about in the Nadeko Draws arc in Monogatari. Was it the like 10,000 hours or something? You're not just going to get good at something by saying, I'm going to do it, and doing it for like 2 days. You have to, it's a craft. You have to dedicate yourself to your craft. You have to work on it, and you will eventually see the improvement. But just because you don't see it doesn't mean that other people will. And that, to me, is really what Fujino was going through in that like 2-year time skip of, she is dedicating herself to this. It seems like she feels like she's getting better, but all other people see is that she's obsessively dedicating herself to just a childhood hobby. They don't really see the love that goes into it. And then after a while, when she's like, you know what? I'm not improving. Or it's like, maybe I am, but I'm not improving enough. The other people are still better than me. That is a way better cake than mine. I don't think my cake is even worth it anymore. And she gets to that point where she loses her way and she doesn't believe in herself anymore. And that spark and that passion is gone. But then she finds her audience. She finds Kiyomaru. She finds that person that goes, holy shit, 2 cakes. And what a feeling that is. When you find someone that genuinely loves your work, that genuinely appreciates the work that you put into it, who sees that improvement and sees the fact that you're getting better even when other people don't, and are with you every step of the way from that point onwards. And it culminates in my favorite scene in the movie, which it's the dance in the rain. Like, I love that. Like, yes, like in the manga, it's a really fun scene, and watching it, it's very well animated. It's very pretty. But just that feeling of when you're at your lowest creatively and you don't feel like you have it anymore, and there's nothing left you can give, and there's no point to giving anymore. And then you get your spark back. There's kind of nothing like that feeling. You feel like you've won. You feel like you can do anything. You want to just like start walking a little faster and skipping and like touching the flag. I feel it. I really like resonate with that moment a lot. Nothing beats that when you, what did I write here? It's nothing beats the feeling of getting your groove back and of knowing that someone cares. Yeah, it's fucking 10 out of 10. But even after you do that, sometimes you do stagnate and you need to get out of your comfort zone to get better, which is what happens to Kiyomaru with her wanting to go to art school. There's a David Bowie quote that I've heard. Like, I've got it saved on a playlist somewhere, and I listen to it every now and then. It's kind of a two-parter, where the first part is saying, never make things for other people, because like, you always need to make sure that you are making something as a creator that you care about, that you like. Don't try to please people, because, you know, people are going to be all over the place. You have to make something that pleases you. But also, don't get too complacent. I don't remember the exact line, but it's something along the lines of, what you need to do is kind of wade out into the water to that point where your feet are just barely touching the ground. Like, you're out of your depth, but you're just safe enough. And that's where you want to be creatively. And that's something I really like too. You know, it's like, if you really are passionate about the thing you're passionate about, you really love it, you do have to take chances. You do have to take risks. You got to keep trying to get better. And I like that a lot. And my other favorite part of the movie, aside from the dance in the rain, is the ending. Now, I guess I'll go ahead and go full spoilers with it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Kiyomaru dies. She dies in the art school. She's killed by an asshole who wanted to kill all the art students because he thought that his work was stolen by one of them. And Fujino blames herself. That, you know, the whole reason she was there is because of our relationship. It's because I drew manga that got her to draw, and then something I drew got her out of her room, and the fact that, you know, we had talked about her getting better and getting faster, and that's why she wanted to go to school. This is all on me. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to create. And I felt that before. Not clearly to that degree or that extent, but just that feeling of, you're at your lowest and you don't see the point anymore. But when you hit your lowest, all you can do is move forward. And that spark and that passion, even when it goes away, it never really leaves you. And so just, to me, it hits harder in the manga than it does in the film. But just that final panel of, after everything that she just learned and experienced and how heartbroken she is, she sits back down and she gets back to work. I like it a lot. Because, again, to me, I don't see it as this, like, really depressing. It's depressing, like, don't get me wrong. But not this, like, well, like, everything went to shit, but now I have to go back to work. And it's just more of a, I'm not gonna let my spark die. My friend loved my work. And she would not want me to stop. And I don't want me to stop either. I have to keep going. I have to keep creating. And I absolutely love that. I would highly recommend watching it if you haven't. I would highly recommend reading it if you haven't. Chef's Kiss, I think it's fantastic.